Well, this was the game of the good, the bad, and at times the ugly. But this Washington football team was able to bounce back with a 30-29 win over the New York Giants. We'll talk about the twists and the turns of this game as Tony McGee's Pro Football Plus is coming up next.
First start was 2-3 years ago in Carolina. Threw 3 picks, tore my tricep. It was just a brutal thing, and that was my last start until last year, Tampa. Come in Tampa last year, had a good game, but ultimately fell up short, and then finally get that first win. So it's nice to get that weight off your shoulders, and hopefully we can keep the ball rolling. Go down and have that 2-play drive for 75 to score a touchdown and take the lead. And defense does a great job of getting a stop and giving us the ball, and we had a chance to close it out there with the first down. And just the interception. Bradbury made a great play. He was with us in Carolina, me, Scott, and Bradbury in Carolina. He's seen that play before. I think he jumped it and made a great play. But yeah, after the 2-minute drill, we had faith in our defense to get the ball back, and we knew that we just needed to get a field goal, and we practiced that situation a lot in practice. So I feel like the guys were ready, and for it to come to fruition, for us to accomplish that goal in a game, it was huge.
We know how hard Hop works, and we got the penalty, so it gave us another chance, and he sunk it. And the other things don't matter because he hit it when we needed it most. So it just felt good to get a win against these guys. It's been a long time. I know I haven't been a part of a win against these guys since I've been here. So that was a great team win, and to come out like that in front of this great crowd, they gave us so much energy tonight. So tonight was really fun. He's always ready for his moment, and I love guys who are always ready for their moment, always prepared. He doesn't complain about the reps that he gets in practice, even when he wasn't the starter. He just makes the most of his opportunities. That's all you can ask for. He did a great job controlling the tempo tonight. He got us into hurry-up situations. He slowed it down. He made great passes. He took what the defense gave him, and he just gave playmakers a chance to make plays. And when you got a guy like that, you just want to continue to make plays for him. So
we ran that play earlier. I had the option. But I knew he was playing tight, and I was waiting for Coach to call the out and up all night. I finally got the opportunity to run it. Something we've been working on for a while in practice, and we finally got a chance to hit it. He bit it, he took the out, and got the 56-yard.
We all see that Taylor's got something. What is it he's got that everybody just rallies around him?
He got that.
Welcome to Tony McGee's Pro Football Plus, and I got that. He got that. They got that. When you can win a game and you can't control the clock, you got that And that is a rabbit foot in your pocket. I'm going to tell you, I got my gang here. Now, let me tell you one thing. Doc Walker, I think he may have gone 0-5, so we send him back to the practice team. We'll bring him back in a couple of weeks. But I still got my homer here. Whenever I look at my homer, all you guys know him by name, but we call him the preacher, the homer. We call him everything but who he is. But people been calling me, talking about they want to advertise on the show because of him. Who you been talking to, man, Milt? Tell me. You've been talking to somebody. Now, last week, we had an empty seat here. Gary, are you happy with your new contract? That's all I want to know.
I am.
Donna's not getting paid this week. Are you happy with the new contract?
No, she doesn't deserve to pay. I deserve her pay. That's
No,
why
you don't deserve it.
I got it though.
You
No
did
more
not
to be
get
said.
it.
Donna Hopkins,
You're working for free now.
y'all can't fight over that game. Donna Hopkins is here. Donna, they kind of hard on you. You went to the game, and you will have to tell us how another team can control the clock the way they did, and we come out winning. And Mike, first and foremost, did we have anything changing on the special teams?
Well, he was 3 for 3. on field goals, including.
Oh, whoa.
The missed one
He was
doesn't
3
count.
for 4.
No, he was 3 for 3.
He missed the one that counted.
He was 3 for 3, statistically speaking.
Well, you know what, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have a little difference on what this game went through. So we're going to take each position, tell you what grades we thought they got, tell you why we thought they did pretty good. So the first one we have to take a look at is the offensive player of the game. You know what I like about what they did with Lauren? They got him the ball early, gave it to him with a short pass, and then he was able to run. But we knew this guy was an MVP. G, tell me about him.
Come on now, you know it's the wide out. That's what we do. MVPs, that's what we are. That's why a team wins. You give them the ball, we win the football game. That's the way it works. But overall, I think the receivers did, they grade out an A. You know, if your MVP is a wide receiver, they have to grade out as an A. Come on,
I cannot believe that. Now let's go back around, and I'm gonna go to you, Don, at first. On the first group we want to talk about is the quarterback. They got the big man hurt. Heineke came in just as he did last year and did a very good job. He was a little bit slower in the beginning, but he came in and he played okay. Tell me about his situation.
Yeah, Tony, he did, like you said, played slow in the first quarter, but I think he picked it up in the second quarter. He finished the day 34 of 46 for over 300 and some yards, 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. But it was his play where he can move his feet and get away. I think that he controlled the tempo. He spreaded the ball around to various receivers and the backfield. But I think that his pass to J.D. McKissick for 56 yards, which was the go-ahead, that touchdown that he threw to Ricky Seals-Jones after he threw that bomb to J.D. McKissick, was beautiful in overall, Tony. Both passes and the 19-yard touchdown strike to Ricky Seals-Jones in the corner of the end zone was just something that he went up and got 2 great passes that put this Washington football team ahead. But I think that even though he threw the interception, the pick that put the Giants back up, it was his play that last minute, something that Washington hasn't done for a long time, is be able to move the ball down the field after throwing the interception and put them in position to win the game. So I think that I grade him a B this week, Tony, because I think that he did some great things in that game.
I like your B, but I don't like your analogy. He didn't do that much great. One of our guys missed the field goal, and then they got a penalty.
He did not miss the field goal, Tony.
When the coach
got to kick it, a
rabbit foot fell out of his pocket. So why are you saying that he did?
All I know is that Heineke played better than if they had Fritz Patrick, I think, in there, because he can add more things with his feet. He was able to get away a lot from the defenders because the offensive line, since we're on that, offensive line to me did not play great still because it was hit and miss at times. They gave up 1 sack, but overall they still have to play better, Tony. I give them a C this week, the offensive line.
Now, see, I differ with you on that for the 7. I want you other guys to chime in, but you think about it. They ran the ball pretty good in the first quarter and a half. They didn't in the second quarter, but they ran the ball good and they had the Giants thinking about the run. The only thing is the defense wasn't stopping the Giants. So the offensive line run-wise, I think if they could have kept that pattern going, they'd have been even better. Now, they did get beat on a lot of pass rushes and different things like that, but he threw for 300 yards. This was not their better game, but at the same time, Don, I have to go with you. That was a nice beat, and they did play better, but they will have to play much better if they're going to do anything in this.
I didn't give them a B, Tony. I gave them a C. I gave the quarterback a B.
Oh, you didn't get, now how you going? Wait a minute. You tell me how that quarterback would get he could get a B, but you can't get a
because he got away when the offensive line wasn't blocking great. That's how he gets the B, because he did a lot on his own somewhat. Offensive line, Tony still gets the C.
Well, guys, people never change their habit. And here she is now.
I'm not being easy.
Throw the defense up under. Now she don't want to give the line what they deserve.
I'm not giving
I'm going to go to this
score.
next guy. You do this in transition. Donna, this is not basketball. You got a quarterback, and he needs the line to block. But the one thing that's so important, and G would tell you about this, if the wide receivers don't catch the ball, G, nothing's going on, right?
100% right. That's why
Tony, he would give them an A no matter what.
We get the MVP, baby.
I just wanted to throw one thing in on that offensive line. And, we haven't seen a lot of the running backs run off the right side of the line in a long time. I mean, when Moses was having a good year, maybe with Sheriff. But now that you've got Cosme out there who's starting to play like a bully along with Sheriff, Gibson's running a lot on off the right side of the line and getting 5, 6, and 7 yards. That's starting to be quite a tandem.
Cosme played okay, Mike. He wasn't.
Yeah, I got to go
for a rookie. I don't know. For a rookie, he's becoming a real bully out there. I like it.
Yeah, I think he's always been a bully, but he hasn't let it slow him down going to the next level.
Those two guys are huge. They're huge.
I think he's still struggling a little bit. He's the one who gave up that sack.
They all are struggling.
I think that he has. I'm just saying that he's struggling still. He's still learning. I don't think that he's at that top where you and Mike are trying to put him at yet.
No, I wonder how much the game plan is being written to the fact that offensive line has not matured to the point that they need to, haven't had a full preseason, all of that across the board. And it's going to show because those are pretty much new elements playing together. And so even for Heineke, which he's got mobility to extend some plays, that line does have to play better. They do have to get better. And they will. I think they will.
But Milton, they had to play better because you had the running backs, and we did. This is the first time we've seen some running backs. We got 2 of them that's actually gaining yards and making runs with the line and then runs on their own. So
Tony, I agree. If we go back to the last game, you will see that Gibson McKissick tandem beginning to take shape. We saw more of it this week. I was so tickled about using the out of the backfield, getting him into some patterns. And that makes the defense think about more too. I actually graded them and gave them an A. And let me tell you what. They didn't put the ball on the ground. They didn't put the ball on the ground. And so they were not noticed, if you will. Aside from McKissick doing great things, and Gibson was steady too. So you all said I could grade him. I gave him an A, Tony.
But you know what? Now, Gary,
Milton.
Give me a grade, Gary.
It's a homer, right?
We got to close out because we over right now. What about the wide receiver? What grade did you give him?
A+. Come on, man.
We'll have to take a break on that. You know what they said at Tombstone? Johnny Ringo, you look like somebody just walked over your grave, and y'all I'll be back in a moment.
I think against the Chargers, we had a lot of we had a lot more deep passes kind of in the middle, like deep digs and things like that. And I would say today we deflected some of those more than last week. So I would say that John got the 3 sacks, but I would say today, I mean, I feel like we put some pressure on him today. Other than the runs he had with his own reads and stuff, I mean, me and Tez got to him. Payne, he missed one. I hit him. Tez hit him twice. I mean, I feel like we was getting there. We just got to clean up his own reads.
Defensively, I would say we played very similar to last week. We did enough to get the win, but moving forward, we just have to be better, And it's not like these issues are like we're just not good enough. We obviously have the talent. We just got to focus on the little things. And I mean, honestly, thank God our offense was there to save us time and time again.
Jonathan Allen, the young man, had 5 tackles, solos by himself, 2 sacks. He's a defensive tackle guy in many plays where you can just see his presence filling out there. And what did he say in the interview? We got to do better. Now, when you start giving grades, now look at the other guys, and Chase was right. They did get there a little bit, but it wasn't enough pressure. Anytime another team can hold the ball for 20 out of 20 minutes in the first half, that's not great pressure. 20 minutes in the first quarter, 20 minutes anytime. That's not great pressure. So yes, the defensive line did play a little bit better, but if I start giving them grades, Jonathan Allen, A, the rest of them, B, minus, okay? That's where I'm looking at it. But I don't leave them by themselves because another team is being able to run. We got a middle that's not taking care of itself. It's just like your belly. When you eat too much, it hangs over your pants. That's what our linebackers are doing. They hanging up in the line of scrimmage, getting beat on short passes. They're not jamming people the way you see linebackers do it. I know fans, I'm getting ugly this year, but I'm old, so I'm cranky. I don't like to see this year in and year out. I don't like to see the linebackers not playing. I got to grade the linebackers. I just close my eyes and give them a C- because I know that's what they're going to get. Fill me in if y'all think I'm wrong.
You know what, Tony? One of the notes that I made to myself was at this stage of the game, at this stage of the season, which makes me think about it being preseason. This team is not disciplined enough with the number of penalties that they have going on. If penalties are bad anytime, but an inopportune time. Can't get off the field because of penalties. We extend drives for the opposing teams because of penalties. So that's a discipline issue right there, in my opinion.
But
And
Tony,
so,
yeah.
no, go ahead. No,
But no, you're right. But the other thing, Tony, I think what John Allen pointed out was that they played similar to what they did the first game, which was not good. What he's saying is they haven't proved enough, moving forward. But what I can't understand, Daniel Jones comes into FedEx Stadium year after year, and he just runs circles around them. The 58-yard one that he ran that was called back because of a penalty, tell me that saved them, because otherwise they were going to be in trouble with that touchdown, which would have put them up by 14 points. But I don't understand why they can't contain Daniel Jones, because they got a Josh Allen, they've got to go up to Buffalo and go up against him, and he's a similar quarterback. So to me, I don't know, what's going on where they can't control this guy.
And don't think for one moment that Josh Allen in watching that tape over and over again, because we've been on Daniel Jones for at least 3 seasons in a row that he's done that to us. So I'd like to see that cleaned up, really.
Well, we know we got to see Daniel Jones one more time this year, but they need to start worrying about that big Wyoming quarterback they're getting ready to play that can throw it from here all the way out to the sea and can run over anybody. That is not going to work. Now, I know these guys play well. I look at the linebacker. What about the cornerbacks? Are they getting the job done? Who has the cornerbacks?
I actually have the secondary. I got some interesting things about that I thought might be interesting. Give me 1 second here. I almost sent you all to the showers. Sorry about that. People forget that I'm the one recording this and doing different things, and you all almost went to the showers that time. Anyway, interesting that.
Well, then you just acting like the cornerbacks then.
Yeah, I am. Well,
game's over.
Yeah, Tony, I'm in that C range, but I thought this was interesting. When they got beat by the Chargers, they were ranked 21st after that game. Now, after the Giants game, they're ranked 23rd overall among NFL teams. I mean, that's not what everybody predicted early on in the season, but they lost both time of possessions. Tony, you mentioned that in the first 2 games. They've given up 337 and 229 passing yards, respectively, the secondary. That 566 passing yards yielded them pretty much in the mid of the NFL teams, right around the middle. But their yards after the catch is what's killing them. They're in the lower tier of the league. Yards after the catch, after these guys catch, the opposing team catches passes. Now, Sunday in the secondary, and I mentioned this to Donna, who she gets us beautiful seats in the press box, so I always bow down to her when I see her. Cameron Curl and Landon Collins were the starting safeties this week. They were the starting safeties. And it looked, from what I can tell from my limited football knowledge, is that Landon Collins was playing strong safety and Cameron Curl was playing free safety. William Jackson III, Benjamin St. Juste were your cornerbacks. I thought St. Juste had a better game this week. They picked on him, but he made a couple of beautiful deflections. I mean, he did very well. I think Kendall Fuller playing nickel, he stepped up a bit this week. I called for the blitz last week. He blitzed, and it shut down a very important drive by the Giants. So you may see a little bit blitzing, although, Tony, I know you think that's a bad idea against Buffalo. But and they basically
4 guys up there. You
I know.
You shouldn't have to blitz no time.
I know.
And Tony, to your point, Tony, that's probably why they're being so teams are being so successful in the back half of that defense, is because we're not getting the pressure up front.
Yeah, and basically I gave them a C+, Tony, and I think they've got a huge challenge before them in Buffalo, and I hope they can hang in there with them. I really do.
Mike, you said that Kendall Fuller played better But I thought that the first two games, he struggled. I mean.
Oh, I think definitely he got picked on a lot in the first game, Donna. But I thought he plays up on that right side of the line when he's in the slot. And I don't think opposing teams have any idea what he's going to do. He backs off 90% of the time, but he really rattled them. After that first blitz, he had Daniel Jones rattled after that.
I still think that he's been struggling the last two games. William Jackson III, I think he struggled in the Giants games too.
Yeah.
Maybe it was because of the pressure. You haven't seen the Kendall Fuller that you've seen last year.
I agree.
He hasn't stepped up with that play yet.
But he played outside last year. See, he played outside. He did not play.
He played both
but
areas.
He played. Yeah,
him really step up and play well yet. That's in my book.
Kansas City on a Super Bowl team, he played outside. I think that's where he belongs. So you make a good point. I mean, on a Super Bowl, he played outside.
Right. Well, you ain't playing with history right now, bro.
Yeah, but history. I'm sorry, but history repeats itself. You can't pick on my safeties. You can't pick on my corners. Now, I don't pick on your guys. You can't pick on mine.
I think to Donna's point, even though he's playing on the inside, it's not his quality of game we're accustomed to. And I don't think inside or outside doesn't matter. We're accustomed to a quality of games. And I was going to ask Donna, do you think it's because he has a new cast back there getting adjusted to that new cast?
Why are you asking Donna?
Because I thought, Gary, I thought Donna may have been able to ask.
Mike's face and Tony's face when you said, why are you asking Donna?
Hey, Milton, you came to the right one because Gary is all offense because he wouldn't know.
No, first you come in and we call you the ref and you the homer. Now you turn into the host. Let me ask you guys. Well, I'm gonna tell you. You look at this team. If we talking about, and this is what we just telling Mike. Mike talking about, oh, he played good in the Super Bowl. He's with us now.
Yeah.
He's getting ready to play one of the most high-powered, big offenses in the league. Do you know that all their offensive linemen are between 6'6", 6'7", way over 300 pounds? Their quarterback is 6'5", 6'6". The receivers are fast. Can't worry about when he was in Kansas City and what he was doing. We got to worry about what this defense could do against this team that's coming up. And if it's going to do well, special teams is going to have to continue. That's the one facet of the team that I can say each and every week they've shown us a little bit more. And it looks like, and Mike, don't throw me that 3 for 3 with Hop. You know he wasn't 3 for 3.
He was 3 for 3.
He missed
but
that
Tony, let's hear from Dustin Hopkins, Hopkins, before Mike makes that comment.
That's how you spell your name.
Can you spell it again, Donna?
I saw the guy offsides, and I turned to Tress. I said, "Watch this. We're going to throw everybody off." And no. I feel really fortunate. Obviously, I've talked to y'all about being process oriented. Honestly, the first kick, and this is the tough part about kicking, is that first kick I hit much more solid than the second kick, but it was just the slight angle. You know what I mean? So. Obviously, I'm happy with the result, like for myself, but also for our team and what the implications will be later. I hope. But process-wise, like, I'm always learning, always trying to get better, and I'm just feel very fortunate and feel great about it. Man, we've put so much work in, and we feel like we do have so much going for us as a team, and so to win one like that. And to get stuff hopefully started down the right path is it's big for everybody.
He has the right. I tell you what, he's a good speaker. I'm gonna see can we get him on the speakers tour. We want to see is some kicks on the field when you need.
He won the game, Tony.
I like him. Yes. I like him, but
let's put it this way. Nobody's been as depressed and happy within 10 seconds as we were.
He was.
All
in 10 seconds.
You know what? With that being said,
all in the same motion. Nobody's been sad and happy.
So you know what, fans, think about that. They're happy right now because we taking a break. Take the moment and get his grade. Well, you know, if we went out, we was explaining special teams, and we had a happy kicker, as Gary said. But give him a grade, Mike. Tell me what you think this special team. I do admit I'm seeing improvement each and every week.
Yeah, Tony. I really like the coverage. I like not only the punt coverage and the kickoff coverage. I like what they're doing. I like the fact that they kept the core of these guys together. I love DeAndre Carter doing punts and kickoffs. I think it's just a matter of time before he breaks one. He's got great moves. He's fast. And then it was great to see him line up on the left side as a receiver. That really did flummox the Giants a little bit. They're using him in more ways than one. I think special teams is a real plus this year. And I hats off to the coaching. Really, I give them a B+. And not only that, but Hopkins did miss that field goal, but he did rectify the situation and got the game winner. And he had two other ones that were good distances.
You know, Donna paid him during the timeout.
Yes, she did pay me.
I say nothing. Proof is in the pudding.
But Donna, it's all you now. Go ahead, take control.
This is our segment. I'm right, you're wrong. The question up for the panel today, you've got a minute, is Kansas City tight end Trevor Kelsey the best tight end in the NFL? And is he better than the senior Kevin Winslow Sr., Tony Gonzalez, Gates, and some of those names? Milton, you're on the clock first.
I would say that's a tough comparison. I think in the season that he's in right now, Kelsey is probably right up there for me. And I also think he's a tweener. I watched that run last night that he scored the touchdown on. He has some abilities after the catch as well. So he's good. He's a good tight end. Those ones that you named, those are Hall of Famers in my head. I don't know if Kelsey's just there yet. Full body of work, but he's on his way. He's on his way. He can be.
Tony, you're on the clock.
He's the best right now, but you can't quantify that when you look back at the players that played in that era. You got to look at the players who played around Tony, the players he played against. These players are different now. They can't even stay on the field all the time. So, yes, he's a better tight end for the guys right now. Put him back there with Tony and them, he may not be as good. But right now, he's the best in the game. And I kept it at 45 seconds.
Okay, you was good, Tony. Mike, you are on the clock.
I think Logan Thomas is my pick. I'm sorry. I think he's going to have better numbers than Kelsey. He hasn't had those numbers in the first two games, but you watch Logan Thomas. He's going to lead all receivers, all tight ends this year in receiving, and I bet he gets 8 to 9 touchdowns. I'm telling you, this kid is a gold mine and better than Kelsey.
How many he have now? I need that. How many does he have now?
None.
Well, so Mike, are you going to answer the question?
Right.
No, I'm not.
You voted for Logan Thomas, and I'm with you, my brother.
I've never picked.
Don't try to take up Gary's clock time. Gary,
Gary's on the clock.
Gary's on the clock.
It's Kelsey. He's the best tight end in football right now. I mean, he's a bad boy, and he let you know it too. He let you know it. He backs up everything he talks about. He goes in and he puts the exclamation point. Now, I think Thomas is going to be a great tight end, but he's not there yet. I mean, that boy's been doing it ever since he came into the league.
We don't have a lot of time.
Not like he just showed up.
Yeah,
but the irony of that is this, and I'm sorry about it, Donna. You go ahead and finish that statement. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, Tony, but I was just trying to chime in as far as Kelsey. When you watch what he does for that team, he's built like a wide receiver more so than a tight end. And I think that he has to be in the same conversations with the Gonzalez, the Gates, and the Winslow, because I think that he's working towards that. No, he may not have those numbers yet, but to me, he's in that conversation with them. And I'm going to let you have the last word, Tony.
Don't leave out Bavaro, by the way.
But you know what? He's in that conversation when you're talking about numbers that for now and then. But you got to look at those guys play 14, 15, 16. Let's see, how many years have he played thus far? Okay.
Kelsey, about 4 years.
He's already putting
he dominated all those 4 years.
If he's still dominating 10 years, then we'll say who the best is. I mean, he may not even last that long.
I just want to throw a small thing out there. Has anybody seen the wideouts on that team? Is anybody seen? I think I could dominate. I could dominate a tight end.
They're not good enough to be double teamed, are they?
No.
The wideouts.
Number 10, a beast for them.
And that's what I'm saying. So the wideouts ought to be giving Kelsey a field day every Sunday. They can't double everybody. And so yeah, but he's a good tight end though. I just think the cast around him is helping him in a big way.
But we got a few minutes left in this segment. And one thing I like to talk about, we're talking about tight ends. When Washington goes to play a team like Buffalo, which has a solid offense, a pretty good defense, not great passes, and you can run on a little bit, will the tight end be very important in that game, Donna, since you feel like, or maybe I should ask Mike, since you feel like Logan is going to lead the league this year. Mike, will he be important in that win, or are you just blowing smoke?
I think I'm not blowing smoke. I think you're going to see him really mature, and I think he's going to lead the NFC in receiving yards for tight ends. I can't speak to the AFC because I don't recognize that competition.
That's one way to cover yourself, Mike.
Cover up on that one.
And they do play Kansas City on down the line.
Right. Well, come on, you guys. You and Tony have a debate here. Let's do it.
Well, with Tony and I are up, and we're in a minute. And Tony, the conversation this week is Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. They played on Sunday night. They've got a little rivalry going on. People are talking about who's the better quarterback between the two. Is it Mahomes? Is it Jackson? If not, why? I still think Mahomes is the better quarterback of the two.
Mahomes is the better thrower. Mahomes he does a lot of good runs. He can do better angles. He reads defense maybe a little bit better. But when you put Jackson in there, a guy that he can score on every play, he can run it, he can throw it, he's getting better with that. And he also calls a pretty good game. Right now, you have to give it to Mahomes because he's been to Super Bowl a couple of times. But overall, in the end, Jackson may be good, but the only thing that I worry about Jackson is it's just a matter of time before he could get hurt. Yeah. So therefore, right now, I don't think you can really say that. It is not enough time to quantify which is the best. They are the two best in the game right now. But right now, time will tell who will be the best. As they say, time will tell. I'm the best right now, and I call a timeout.
Tony, it is not you. Lamar Jackson is nowhere better a thrower than Mahomes. To me,
oh wait, we ain't going to. I can't go to a commercial now. What did you just say?
Jackson struggles when it comes to the passing game. He is not great there, and he's not great in reading the defense. Is not to the point where Mahomes is. Now he may be able to scramble like Mahomes, but he is not in the same breath as Patrick Mahomes.
Man, you just like a horse in the Kentucky Derby. You running with blinders on. What do you mean he can't read defense? The only reason they lost the first game is because he fumbled. And I tell you what, when they won that second one, he was reading the defense well. I mean, the way he plays the game, they make sure that everything is off of him. They always want you to be afraid of him running, which you can. Mahomes runs when he has to. Now let's look back and digress to last year when he got hurt.
Are we talking about last year again?
I'm Mike Baker. And
okay, you can see a Mike Baker card.
Like Jackson.
You gotta admit though, when Mahomes was hurt last year, Kansas City was not the same team. So I'm telling you, Jackson, and the one thing with Jackson which make him the better quarterback right now is running game. Now you can laugh at that. They have running back. They've lost 3 or 4 starters. But when you saw them play Kansas City, that gives him more options. Now, we know that Kansas City has a pretty good running game at the same time. So I'm looking at these two quarterbacks, and the answer, in the minute, we'll know in the minute.
Hey, Tony, ask the panel. Ask the panel, who would they take, Jackson or Mahomes?
Who you think is best?
Hey, Gary, who, Mahomes or Jackson?
I like them both, quite honestly.
Which one?
Yeah, come on. You can't be diplomatic, Gary. You got to pick one.
I'm happy. I'm happy either way. It's like saying Monk or Clark, Sanders or Monk. I'm happy either way.
Okay, so if we put it on the mortgage payment, I would have to go with Mahomes.
I'd be like, we both got the same rate.
Mike?
You know what? I got really reamed out for picking against Baltimore, and I picked him this week. I got to go with Lamar Jackson.
Oh,
You know why you
Mike
wrong.
is going with
Mike, the commentary for that pick, Mike. That's a stretch. That's a
We
stretch.
gotta take a break.
I've stuck with Baltimore through thick and thin for years now.
Yeah, you've been a trader for years, Mike. You've been a trader for years. Yes,
Tony said we gotta take a break.
Thank
We're
you.
gonna take a break on that, but now that Mike said he got Jackson, I'm going with Mahan. We'll be back in a minute. Well, you know, we've talked about this Washington team and what they need to do and everything. Let's talk about Buffalo. Everyone is saying Buffalo lost the first game, but no one was worried because they knew they were very good. And whenever they start talking about they're very good, G, they always go to, as you said, they say they got some of the best wide receivers in the league.
And that's a true statement. They do. You know, you got Stephon Diggs, you got Sanders. I like that Sanders name, by the way. Beasley. They run great routes, great patterns, and you got speed guys too. So when you have all those kind of combinations and those mixtures, those guys become hard, especially with our defensive backs. That could headaches could be something that our DBs have, because that's a great group of receivers they have there.
So if our DBs have trouble down it, but we have heard one thing about them. They have a little problem with pass rush.
Well, Tony, I think the defense is one of the best in the NFL, Buffalo's, and they will get after you. Heineke has to be able to get away from that pressure that he's going to be under. They only gave up a total of 216 total yards to the Dolphins last Sunday. So to me, the defensive unit is starting to gel, playing better than the other units. So like I said, it's one of the best in the NFL.
Well, see, I don't agree with that, but we'll go on with that because, Donna, you've been wrong about 10
You know how
times
you don't
before.
agree with
So-
nothing because you
so we'll
just don't know
disagree with that. So, Milk, offensive line. So if they didn't give up a lot of yards, that means their team was on the field quite a bit, and they have a very good offensive line.
Tony, an eye opener for me. I have it on a confirmed source that these are mountain mules, 6'6", 300 being across the line. And a quarterback's about 6'7" himself. So it's going to be a long day. I actually think that it may play to our favor defensively, and I'll tell you that later.
Now, you know, Mike, the last thing he said was that quarterback, but isn't the quarterback the one that stirs the juice? And he's a big guy. He's agile. He can throw the ball. He seems to be a pretty good quarterback. Tell me a little bit, because he may be the key.
You know what, Josh Allen, of course, he had the rough first year, but last year was a banner year. And one thing that I really liked in the offseason, they didn't mess around with him. They gave him the money he deserved. And that town loves that quarterback. And you know what it reminds me of when I read about them, and I read about the town, and I read about him and the affection he has for the town and they have for him. I thought you use Jim Kelly, you think of Jim Kelly, but then also you think about the old days when the Washington football team would go into RFK and the love that this town had for the old Washington Redskins. It was an affection that you just can't describe. And a lot of that has faded, obviously, with 20 years of losing. But you're going into a tough place and a tough house and a lot of noise. And I think, and combine the fact that Josh Allen has found his stride after a rough first start. And I think you got a tough game on your hands. But you know what? Don't rule out Taylor Heineke. I'm telling you, do not rule this kid out. And I would not be a bit surprised to see the Washington football team beat Buffalo and Heineke have better stats than Allen, just like the time when they rolled into Pittsburgh last year and they bested Roethlisberger. Just my thoughts.
You
Sound like a homer. Sound like a homer.
Hey, not only that, he wouldn't be surprised, but he didn't count on it.
Exactly, Tony.
A lot of injuries around the
Allen's
league.
no Doug Williams, baby. Allen's no Doug Williams. That's a quarterback that could do everything. He's no Doug Williams, so I'm not worried.
Well, Mike, how is their injury front?
Well, there's a lot of stuff going on. This all happened just today, and I thought I'd run it by you. You lose one of the pieces, Jarvis Landry, to that Cleveland machine, and it can be a real problem. But now they say he's going to be week to week. He has an MCL sprain. Can you play with that?
Yeah, you can play with it. It's not bad, but you have to ask Gary that. But he is too big in their offense. But the one thing about it, the Cleveland team to me is built on running the ball.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting. He's not as prominent in that offense this year as he has been in years past.
Exactly.
So because of the emphasis on the run game, they got a rookie in that comes in and takes some of his snaps. I think he's been injured since the season started, but it may be getting worse. But I don't know if it'll be that big a deal.
And you got TJ Watt You got TJ Watt with a groin injury. We talked a little bit about this groin injury with our own player. They say it's strained, but they think he might play week 3. If Watt doesn't come in for the Steelers, they got problems.
Well, you know what? I like what you said about that, but TJ Watt, if he's the same guy that held out the whole training camp because he wanted more money, they give him more money, and he's the highest paid defensive player of the game. And his groin is hurt enough for him to be out this game that caused him to lose, but he may come back. You know, we talked about with guys like that, we never called them chickens, but we told them they had hen house ways.
Well, Christian McCaffrey may not play for the Panthers either. I mean, they say he's good to go Thursday, but he got nicked up on Sunday. Does he go Thursday?
Well, the way he was running, but I think in a game like that, Mike, that he'll end up playing no matter what, because he's
on the injury, guys.
They said it was leg cramps.
It depends
So
on the injuries. If you got a groin injury, that's the worst injury a speed guy, a receiver, DB, or running back could ever have. That groin shuts you down. I know.
But not a defensive end.
Yeah, defensive
end.
I'd have had him before.
A defensive end, because your groin, that's your speed. I mean, that's your speed. Like, I could play with quad pulls, ham pulls. My groin, when I pulled that out in Arizona, I never was the same player again, ever.
Wow.
But McCaffrey doesn't have a growing injury, right, Mike?
Oh, he just had leg cramps.
Yeah, leg cramps.
leg cramps.
Depends on the injury. If it's just that, then you can play through those things. But growing, and trust me, I don't think there's a tougher guy than me that can play through it.
Then TJ Watt probably won't.
I mean,
but Mike, I'd have played with groin injuries, and I could run. And the thing about it is, I feel like this: he's too important to that team. He sit out and made them give him the most money. So if you're the best paid player at defense, you don't have your groin injury. If it's not that bad, they wouldn't even be looking at him to play the next game.
That's true.
That tells me right there.
It's just a strain. What about Carson?
Like I see it. This isn't the World Series, but he's out.
What about Carson Wentz, guys?
One thing, if it's a pull, that's a whole nother thing, because that goes into your profits area. It goes all the way into your profit area. That's a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
Okay, Gary, this is not an X-rated show.
This is a family show.
We got a minute left, which is
family show.
We got about a minute left, but Carson Wentz, Tua's going to be out for the Dolphins. Wentz will be out for the Colts, and Andy Dalton is going to be out for the Bears, I bet. He suffered a bone bruise in Sunday's win over the Bengals. And I don't know why the coach won't name Justin Fields the starter. What's going on with that? Come on, Andy Dalton is just a place setter. But you got 3 starting quarterbacks gone this week.
Well, you know, all 3 of them, they were on other teams last year, so that should tell you another thing. And it's going to be a lot of injuries around the league. People are not in shape. You can't go all this time, months and months, without playing games, without hitting individuals, without having training camp, not getting in shape. Then you call yourself playing football. That's just like us doing the show. Donna, that's why you're wrong. You don't do the show all year round. You just come around when we're here. You know, Donna. All year, Donna. We'll be back in a minute, Donna. You got to finish the show, Donna. We'll be back in a moment.
Vanessa Blair Lewis is back home again as she leads the George Mason's women's basketball program.
She looks like she might curve. You got to get in that pad, push her out. And even you got to pull your man through. Be more aggressive.
I'm so excited to be back. I know that I was led to leave by God to take on over a university that had struggled. And I didn't really want to go then, but I listened. And then when it was time to come back home, I listened again. So it's just been full circle. You know, I just believe that there are plans that are laid for you and a purpose. And I have had a purpose to do in coaching, was ministering young women. And so that took me away from home, and it was tough because, like you said, we go way back. You know, PG County is our stomping grounds, and but to be able to be led back home, I'm really, really excited. I'm humbled that George Mason would see fit and think it not robbery to bring me back.
Right away, she resonates her message loud and clear. Believe big.
How much pressure being back home do you feel on your shoulders right now?
I think only the pressure that I provide. I know that growing up as a young girl, we would look across the bridge, as we would say, to get to Mason from Woodrow Wilson Bridge, and they were a very esteemed university in and of themselves academically, but a very good basketball program. And as we know, the men in '06 went to the Final Four. So, you know, growing up knowing Mason, wow, they were always that esteemed program, and to be honored to come back and lead the charge. There may be pressure in that, but I think when you're a player, you want that kind of pressure because you believe in what you've done. You believe in what got you here. And I know what got me here. And so I don't have any more pressure than what I put on myself. And someone probably couldn't put any more pressure on me than that, because I don't want to say all you do is win, 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 but we win and we do it the right way.
When it comes to winning, it's nothing new for Coach Blair. In her last 5 years at Bethune-Cookman, she guided them to a 107-48 record, 4 21-win seasons, 4 MEAC regular season championships, and in 2019 to their first ever NCAA tournament appearance. She plans on bringing that same winning formula to Mason Nation.
You talked about the men's program and them winning that year. What will it take to get the women to that stage?
For me, it has always been about who's in the uniform first. And I think for me and my program, and I can only speak on that, is that if we lead, and I say we, my staff, I was able to bring my entire staff with me, so there's comfortability there. There's a knowing there. I know how these women and my coaching staff are going to operate when they're with me, when they're not with me. But we operate in the sense that our players come first, literally in every sense of the word. If they call at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, they can call me, the head coach, at 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm getting out of bed going there. And I start every year with the same message to my players. I don't like any of you.
Wow.
I love you. So now I don't have to choose. Because liking is too conditional. Today you might do the right thing, tomorrow you might wear these shoes, the next day. Liking is too conditional, and that's too hard. But if you come from a platform of loving every day, it's an action word. It's something that you already agree and you make up your mind to do. So I don't have to deal with liking you. I love you, but with love comes discipline. And so we have that installed in our program. So my players never have to say, I don't play because she doesn't like me, or maybe she doesn't. We take that out the equation. There's no liking here. We love our kids. Our kids love us, and they feel that love. And the first thing, Donna, if you talk about a formula, I was coached by my dad, a legend of PG County, Bob Blair, 20 years at Largo High School, giving back, never taught in the school system. So he did this in his spare time. Coached his daughters through there, won a state championship, and was always a figure in the community. He put over 100 and some girls to college that would have probably not otherwise have made that jump. Ran a very academic program. So I saw the blueprint. There was a blueprint there that my dad was literally a dad to other young girls that I grew up with that didn't have fathers. The whole time I was growing up, I was witnessing what the blueprint was, but not knowing that this was ever going to be my path. So when I was appointed, I was chosen to be the head coach at Mount St. Mary's at 24 years old. I was the youngest head coach in Division I at the time. I didn't know that's something I wanted to do. But when I was called, I answered. And I learned very young in my career, I kept understanding that being a coach was about winning, because that's what we had done as a player. That's what I had, done overseas as a professional. And I got to a point at the mountain, I was just like, why is this not coming as easy? And then I realized, I met with one of my players one day, and she said, Coach, I'm having a tough time. And I said, well, why? You want to go over the plays? She said, Coach, it's not about the plays at all. My mom has cancer. And it was for the first time, I may have been 27, I didn't understand the other part of the athlete, because I was always taken care of by my parents. I had a loving family, but some of these girls didn't have that. And I realized at that point, my calling has nothing to do with basketball. My calling is a ministry. And if the Lord gives me 14 girls or 15 girls that year, then that's who I minister to. The winning comes after that when I do what I'm called to do. But the winning comes inside of the uniform first. And that was the blueprint that was laid out before me that I didn't even know, but I was walking in it the whole time. And when I realized when that player left my office that this game is bigger than a round ball, it's about the girl in the uniform, and that we never ever can not understand that part first.
Very interesting piece. And I tell you what, down there, she's been there for how long?
This is her first year, Tony. She was just appointed the head women's basketball coach at Mason. And you know that Daryl Green is the assistant AD and Brad Edwards is the athletic director. And they'll be, Tony, they're big in the community, and we'll hear part 2 of that interview, but they're going to be participating in my 5K walk run for breast cancer on October the 2nd. So a lot, you can just feel in the air, Tony, that something is about to change with that program, with what she's bringing to the program.
Great. I can feel in there something is changing with our picks, Mike.
Well, actually,
it's not good either.
No. Paul, our expert graphics guy, will put up the graphic for you. But right now, let me at least show you what the games are that we're picking, and then he can always cover up for it. But this week, we're picking Chicago at Cleveland, Green Bay at San Francisco, New Orleans at New England, and Cincinnati at Pittsburgh, and Tampa Bay at Rams. What do you guys think about Chicago? I only got a minute left. Chicago at Cleveland. Who you guys like?
Cleveland.
Cleveland all the way.
Cleveland? Milton?
Yep, Cleveland.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go Chicago because I'm a renegade. Okay, Green Bay at San Francisco. Who do you guys like?
I got San Fran.
San Fran. Gary?
That's a tough one. I got San Fran too.
Gary?
San Francisco.
Yeah, I'm going to go Green Bay. Okay, New Orleans at New England.
New England.
All righty. Anybody else?
I took New England.
All right, Gary?
New England.
I'm going to go New Orleans. All right, Cincinnati at Pittsburgh. I'm going to be 0-5. I can see it.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I think I'll go Pittsburgh. Tampa Bay at LA Rams. Tampa Bay at LA Rams.
Yeah, I learned my lesson last year. Tampa Bay.
Oh, we know where you going, Gary.
Hey, I was talking all of that Stafford stuff last week. Don't bet against Brady. That's almost like a commandment, right?
All right. I'm gonna listen. I learned my lesson too, Gary. I'm going with you.
I'm going Tampa Bay.
All righty, Gary. Gary, I think you.
Oh, come on, guys.
Okay, we got about a minute left.
No, we got about 30 seconds there, big guy.
Okay, well, you know what? We all know what Washington needs to do to win this game, and one of them is running the ball. One of them is not making mistakes, and one is playing a very good team. But what we all should know that we should all work harder at what we should be rather than working harder to hide what we are.
I like
That's the way Washington has to look at it.
Yeah.
They got to work harder at what they should be. And you guys with your picks, you do too. We'll be back next week. Never say goodbye in the minute.